Welcome to the Healers Café, conversations on health and healing with Dr. Manon.
Hey, it's Dr. Manon Bolliger, and I want to welcome you to the Healers Café. I'm so excited to be doing this series of interviews, and what I'll be doing is asking all kinds of healthcare practitioners, doctors, healers of all types to really share with all of you their experience, why they became healers, what called them, what they think about this being a healer thing. Is it a thing? and who's really healing in this? What they've experienced from their interaction with clients and patients, and what the big takeaways and understanding of what the process of healing is all about and the process of life. So that's the essence of what I'm doing. I'm hoping that this will serve also for patients that have issues and are looking for different ways of approaching it. So I have interviews with all kind of complementary health practitioners, and then some that you may already know about, like chiropractors or physios, surgeons, psychiatrists, and also some that are less known, like some of the energy workers and things I don't know about yet, and that I'm so excited to learn. And also I'll be sharing stories from Bowen therapists that I have trained myself, or that are practicing it now and have stories to tell. So it's really the goal here for the end user, as in the person who needs help, is to see who they relate with and what the insights of the therapies might be, especially the less known ones. And so hopefully that will give you an insight there. And then for practitioners, it's really to have a place where we can meet and talk and have discussions on all aspects of healing. It's really conversations on health that I'm looking forward to having. And for those who don't know me, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I have been blessed, and that's a retrospective view, with having encountered several health conditions. So I had turned in feet when I was born. I also had scoliosis. I developed multiple sclerosis, and I had stage 4 cancer. All of them were treated naturally, at least all the last 3. And I became really interested in discovering what we can do to help ourselves and how amazing and powerful our own bodies actually are. So something called innate or intelligent healing that we all have. It's like it's within us. But how do we trigger this? What excites that energy to manifest? And for those of you who, when I say the word energy, are cringing, I was the same. My background, actually, I went into law. I have my LB from Quebec. So my interest was really, I guess, human rights is the baseline, but I really wanted to help empower people to make informed choices, to really understand what they're getting into, what they're signing, and what they're signing up for. And one of the areas that when I was doing my master's at McGill that got me super excited was alternative, so to speak, complementary healthcare. So I was looking at homeopathy and at the chiropractic, because at that time, which is quite a few years, and I don't want to date myself, it was not that well known, right? So I wanted to see how did they become accepted in our society, or significantly more accepted. So I was looking at all that, and I was looking at how is research done, how is the end user done, what are the aspects that what are taken into consideration to make decisions for what therapies get seen or not seen. And then as circumstance would have it, I bumped into, after I had done my naturopathic physician training, so basically after I finished law school, I wasn't quite content. I wanted to really be at the level of where movements are made, when people care. And when do people care? They care when it's their health, but especially when it's their health of somebody in their family. And that's when they really take charge, and they want all these things, informed consent. They really want to make the right decision. So that's what really got me going. It's like, okay, I need to actually be in the same position. Now I'm starting a family. I want to know all the right answers. Who do I trust? How do I understand research? So I started a whole path of really going down the way of like, how do I get to know what are the right things, and how do I eventually learn to trust myself? And so that was a long journey, and in that I developed many of these conditions I just talked about. But I came to a realization with one of these events, when I had my body touched during a physical therapy. I had a huge flashback, and that flashback made me realize that the body, actually the nervous system, the fascia, holds memory. But at that time there was very little work on this. So I was like, I've got to go down this road. So I ended up being trained by Oswald Wrench, and it changed my world, in part because what he taught seemed relatively simple after having done naturopathic school and, being trained and being able to do adjustments and to do acupuncture and to give supplements, to understand nutrition. Like, there were plenty of things, but what he did was simple. And what happened to me is this flashback, and this flashback changed so many things, because when I realized this, I realized there was so much more. Now, at that time, partially because of their generation, they were really structurally focused, and they did not understand what I went through in that moment. And what I went through is total flashback. I was 2 years old. I was screaming in pain, like shrieking like a frustrated 2-year-old, because what I recognized is that my feet were strapped into these 2 white shoes held apart by this metal bar. And that was like, I saw this in my mind's eye. And so it's like, when I came to my adult self after this treatment, I phoned my mom, and she goes, "Oh yeah, we have these shoes." And so at that point I knew I had to take this therapy, because it was more subtle and gentle than what I had learned in school. So, and it's complementary too. I don't want to say, there's, every therapy does something right. You show up at the right place. It moves you to the next step. But this is my journey. So what happened to me anyways is I ended up moving to Nova Scotia. And when I opened my practice there, I started seeing patients that had trauma, and not just physical trauma, but emotional traumas, and people who had experienced abusive relationships and incest. And so here I had this otherwise structural, therapy, and I had an interest in trauma developed well before this. So the two found peace in me. And when I went to Nova Scotia, I innovated, and I really moved Bowen therapy to a whole other level. So I ended up opening up a college called Bowen College, and I teach a form of it called BowenFirst therapy. So I call it BowenFirst because my experience is if you do BowenFirst, any other therapy you do, any other intervention it amplifies the results. And the main reason is because it works with the fascia. It unlocks it. It frees up the emotions that are trapped, and it puts your body in parasympathetic state, which is that state of rest and relaxation where all healing takes place. So yeah, and so that's what I've done well, I've had a practice for 30 years. I've seen thousands and thousands of people. It was a word of mouth practice for the majority of time. I was seeing 150 people a week. It was so rewarding, both emotionally, like thrilling, and also financially, because if you can help that many people, well, if it doesn't, we're in the system, money is in the system. And of course, I've had to deal with those issues too, and most practitioners might understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm past it now. I just see the beauty of this life. And so anyhow, I'm rambling on the side, but I wanted to let you know the sort of the background of what I'm passionate about. And so I also started creating programs for the public, a REBOOT home care kit. Which is something that like you can do with your family if you have aging parents, or you have young children who aren't sleeping well or digesting well. I actually teach a simple way of rebooting their body. The analogy I give is that all systems are there like a computer, but sometimes it doesn't work, right? There's like circulating balls, and Word doesn't work, and PowerPoint is all funky. And so what you do, you power off, right? And then you turn it back on, you reboot it. And when you reboot it, all the operating systems are working, because we're not really broken. We're just like, we've been influenced to be off kilter, and we didn't have the internal resourcefulness to come back. So by doing this treatment, it just allows the body to go, oh right, I remember, I can heal. And so anyway, that's why it's so exciting. And so I have young teenagers doing this, and all kinds of couples doing this. So I'm really excited about that. And I have a listen program, which is all about listening to your body. And that's really based on how I overcame multiple sclerosis, and how I also overcame stage 4 cancer naturally. So I go into all those details. And if you are interested in joining my show here, I also have a way you can just opt in, and I have a free series of emails, so you don't have to worry about opting into any other programs, but just to help you along this path. So if that's of any interest, please just sign up, and you'll get that, and we'll see if there's a fit between my mission, your mission and vision, and helping this world. All right, thank you, and I really hope that you are able to enjoy and get lots of value out of these amazing interviews.
Thank you for joining us at the Healers Café with Dr. Manon. For more information, go to drmanonbolliger.com.